you to fill out your W-4 electronically online. So what I would advise though is still print out the form and do the worksheet like we're gonna go over it tonight, and then you'll at least have the numbers to put on your W-4 online without having to try to figure it out on the computer, okay? So the cool thing about this and about our membership here at MyEcon is that we're gonna start to learn some of the terminology, because you have to realize the financial industry, they try to confuse by design, right? They try to make things all these crazy names like W-2, W-4, 1099, 401k. They make it sound super confusing, so you don't even try to figure out what it is. But it's really not hard at all, okay? All you have to know is that this combination of letters and numbers is basically just tax codes for different things, okay? So a W-2 is simply the tax code for job, okay? All that's saying is you're working a job, that means you pay taxes first. That's all that means. If 1099 means business owner, all it is you're a business owner, you pay taxes last, okay? The W-4 is just the form that you fill out when you get hired at your employer that tells your employer exactly how much money to withhold from your check for taxes, okay? So there's only 3 ways to lower your taxes legally, okay? The first is what we're gonna go over tonight, which is adjusting your W-4, revisiting your W-4. The second is you're gonna open a home-based business. And because you're on this line tonight, you've already done that. You've got a home-based business already, which is the reason why you need to go and readjust your W-4, okay? The third thing is you've gotta start to invest in what we call tax-deductible or tax-deferred investments. That's another webinar, that's another workshop altogether, but just know that those are the 3 ways to lower your taxes. That's my dog, I'm sorry guys. I guess he wants to get on this webinar as well. So we've got to adjust your W-4, open a home-based business, and a part of opening a home-based business is you've got to keep good records, okay? And the Cash Flow Manager app that you have included in your membership allows you to keep those records. And the third thing to lower your taxes is you want to start investing eventually into tax-deductible or tax-deferred investments. Okay, we're gonna go into that in the tax webinar later on. All right. So what's a W-4? Like I said, the W-4 is only a form that you fill out to tell your employer at work how much money to withhold in every check. That's all it is for. So I'm gonna share my screen so we can see what the W-4 looks like. If you have one in front of you, great. So here it is. Okay, can you guys see it?
Yes.
I hope you can. Okay, cool. All right, great. So here's the W-4. So you know what we always say, right? We don't read much. We hate reading. So if most people see this form at work and just start to fill it out, a lot of people I've talked to have 0 on this form because someone told them to put 0. But if you have a 0 on your form, you are paying the maximum amount of taxes. You are way overpaying taxes. So you've got to adjust this form so we can change that, okay? Okay, see here. Let's see if there's a way for me to, okay, cool. You should be able to see me draw some stuff around here. All right, cool. So right here, the first line in the upper left-hand corner of the form says purpose. What's the purpose of this form? It says complete form W-4 so that your employer can withhold the correct federal income tax from your pay. Consider completing a new form W-4 each year and when your personal or financial situation changes. So the government, the form itself is telling you, you need to be revisiting this form. But most people, about 80% of people who are working, never revisit this form until they get another job, okay? When you get hired on day 1, you fill it out and then you don't fill it out again until you get hired somewhere else. There's been stories of people we've worked with who, you know, when they started their job, they were single, no kids. Been at the job for 15 years, have 4 kids and are married, never changed this form. So guess what? They've been overpaying taxes for 15 years. Okay, so we don't want that to happen to you. So we're gonna go over this form line by line so you can make sure that you as a business owner now can have your form filled out so you can take home the maximum in your paycheck, okay? It's your money, so stop giving it to Uncle Sam. It's yours, all right? Here we go. All right, cool. So basically what this is saying is, why is it important for us to fill this out? It's because, like I just said, the government will be holding less of your money. So if the government is holding less of your money, guess what? Guess who's holding more of it? You are, right? You're holding more of your own money. It's your money. So what we gotta do is not pay $1 extra in taxes. The mistake most people make is that we pay so much extra in taxes. And guess what the government's doing? They're using your money all year, investing it, making a ton of money on it, then giving it to you next year as a tax refund. Most people get so excited about their tax refund, but it's not a gift. It's just your money, okay? It's your money that the government invested, made money, and gave back to you a year later. And then they consider it income, so they tax that, even though it was your money in the first place. So we got to shift our mindset and stop wanting the tax refund and start to get your money every paycheck. And that's what this adjustment is going to allow you to do. All right? So there's this, one of my mentors, Mr. Brian Bean, you know, there's 7 things he said you got to wrap your mind around with the W-4. Okay, the first thing is you've got to realize that this is your money. It's not the government's money, so there's no need to be scared of adjusting this form. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to touch my W-4, but it's your money. Your money's going to make someone rich. Why not let it be you? Stop making everyone else rich except yourself, okay? So it's your money. You decide how you get it. And the fact that you're a business owner now means that you can get your money first instead of the government getting it first, okay? The second thing is people sometimes say, okay, if I adjust this form, wouldn't that mean I'm going to owe? Listen, this is the mindset behind it. We all owe. Everyone working owes the government. The key is, the difference is right now, if you have your form filled out incorrectly, your employer is taking out as much as they want to give to the government based on this form. You're overpaying your taxes. So what you got to do is now you're going to, instead of them taking $2,500 out of your check and you overpaying, if you're only supposed to pay $500, that's all you're going to pay. Okay, so adjusting this form is going to allow you to not pay $1 extra in taxes. So yes, you may not get a huge tax refund next year, but you're going to get the same equivalent of your money every single month. Okay. Third thing, don't lie on this form. You know, tell the truth. So many people be looking for people's kids to claim. Like, so on line D for dependents, they have no kids, but they're claiming a cousin and their auntie's boyfriend's cousin, you know, so they can get some extra deductions. Because you're a business owner on page 2, you're going to get deductions. So there's no need for you to lie. Okay. So 4, the questions on this form can only be answered one way. It's not trick questions. It's all you have to do when you're reading the line, and as you start to teach people how to fill this form out, all you've got to do is ask them, listen, is that you? The question says, I'm single. Are you single? If you're single, then you get a 1. Okay, and you'll see what I'm talking about as we go through the form. Don't worry if you make a mistake. You can always readjust this form. You can readjust it every week if you want to. It's your form. It's your money. It's not like it's set in stone. You can change this and revisit this form often as you like. And then the last thing is never argue with a person who doesn't want to change the form. Because you're going to find some people who are set in their ways, who are just terrified of the IRS and terrified of doing something different, even though they're not learning these principles from wealthy people. We're learning about these things from people who have made multiples, hundreds of millions of dollars. So they understand taxes and how to benefit. That's why they've got to that place. So we got to start listening to our broke friends, right, who don't understand taxes, and start listening to some wealthy people who are telling you what to do, and start applying that to our lives, okay? So if you run into a situation where you're sharing with someone about, you know, adjusting the form, like, no, I'm not doing it, just say it's okay, because you don't make commission off of them adjusting their form. You know, it's their money. If they don't want to get it, cool, okay? So we're going to go through this line by line, and show you how simple it really is, but because no one ever really went through it with us, most people are really confused, okay? And one disclaimer before we start is this. You're gonna get an immediate pay raise. like by your next paycheck, you're gonna have more money in your check after you adjust this form. Do not go get yourself in more debt now because you've got more money. So many people get an extra $300-400 a month, and now they go buy more stuff. No, use that extra money that you were never getting and start getting yourself out of debt. Okay, don't put yourself in more debt. Get yourself out of debt. So use these tax savings that you're going to start to get and pay off the credit cards. Pay extra on your car note. Pay extra on your student loans. Okay, so here we go. So if you can see the form. All right, so there's 2 pages of the W-4. There's page 1, the one that most people are familiar with seeing. That's because that's for your standard deductions. Then there's a page 2 that most people never see because that's for business deductions. If you don't own a business, you can't fill out page 2, which is most people before they get started with our company. But now that you've signed on the line, you know, you've enrolled with us at Nobay Powered by My Econ, you are now a sole proprietor legally. So now you are legally eligible to fill out page 2 of this form. Okay, and page 2 is where the money is, and you will see that in a second. So page 1, so we've got the first section that says personal allowance worksheet, right? You've got A. This is easy. Remember, every time we go through a question, just ask yourself, is this me? Okay, so enter 1 for yourself if no one else can claim you as dependent. So if you're over 18 and no one else is claiming you on their taxes, you should have a 1. So every single person should have a 1. Every grown adult should have a 1 on line A. Okay, so it amazes me that some people have a 0 on this form when just A alone, you should have at least 1. Okay, B. So so for A, you should have a 1. For B, enter 1 if these conditions apply, any of these conditions, not all of them, if any of them apply. If you are single, so if you ask yourself, am I single? If you are, all right, and you only have 1 job, you get a 1. Or if you're married and you only have 1 job, you get a 1. So usually most people get at least a 1 for A and a 1 for B. Almost everyone, okay? Because people are either single or they're married, right? That's basically what it is. The second part of the statement that says, okay, and your spouse doesn't work or your wages from a second job. This is the one thing where they try to get tricky with you because of our lack of knowledge of the form. Basically, you're either single or you're married. So everyone is eligible for a 1. But by putting those extra clauses behind it, it's going to make the average person say, oh, what if I have 2 jobs? Oh, what if I make less? Listen, are you married? Yes, you get a 1. Are you single? Yes, you get a 1. Either or, okay? So most people should have a 1 for A and B. We move on to C. Enter 1 for your spouse. So what does that mean? If you're married, you have a 1. If you're single, you can't get a 1. That's it. Everything else after that doesn't matter. It says, but you may choose to enter 0 if you are married and have either a working spouse or more than 1 job. Entering a 0 may help you avoid having too little tax withheld. All that means in layman's terms is you deserve the 1, but we're going to try to trick you to put 0 so we can take more of your money. So if you have a spouse, put a 1. If you're single, put a 0. Okay? D. Enter the number of dependents other than your spouse or yourself that you can claim on your tax return. So if you've got kids, if you've got someone who lives with you, like your mom, a parent, or someone who you claim as a dependent, enter that number there. So it can be 1, it can be 4, it can be 5, depending on your situation. That's what you want to put on D. So enter your number of dependents. That's straightforward. E. Enter a 1 if you will file as head of household on your tax return. So now what do you say? You say, what's head of household? So you scroll up to the top of the sheet, right here, head of household. Generally, you can claim head of household filing status on your tax return only if you are unmarried. So if you're married, you can't claim it, okay? So if you have something on C, you cannot get E, because to be head of household, you have to be unmarried, okay? So if you're married, you don't qualify. But if you're unmarried and you pay more than 50% of the cost of keeping up the home for you and your dependents, then you're head of household. So thing to note, if you're unmarried and you don't have any dependents, you're still not head of household. Because in order for you to be head of household, you have to be unmarried and there has to be dependents. Okay? So are you head of household? If you are and qualified, you put a 1 there. F. Enter 1 if you have at least $2,000 of child or dependent care expenses for which you claim a credit. This does not include child support. So listen, F means if you've got a child or some dependent that you take care of, and in a year you spend more than $2,000 on that child, whether it be daycare, school tuition, whatever, the cost of maintaining the child, whatever it is except child support, if you spend more than $2,000, you get a 1. Okay? You get a 1 there. G. This is for everyone who has kids. So if you've got kids and you're on the webinar, make sure you pay attention. G, if your total income will be less than $70,000 or less than $100,000 if you're married, enter a 2 for each eligible child. Okay? So think about it. If your income is less than $70,000 and you have kids, this applies to you. Now, let's say you have 2 kids. So it's saying to you, enter a 2 for each eligible child. So if you've got 2 kids and it says enter 2 for each kid, now, so that means the number you have right now is what? 4. Okay? 2 kids and you enter a 2 for each child. So that's 4. Then it says less 1. So 4 less 1 is 3. If you have 2 to 4 eligible children. So if you have 2 to 4 eligible children, and in our case, our example right now, we're saying we've got 2 kids, your number on G should be 3. Okay? It says, or less 2 if you have 5 or more children. So the question you're going to ask yourself or ask the person you're sitting and helping them fill out this form is, how many kids do you have? They either have between 2 and 4, or they have between 5 or more. Okay? If the person has 1 kid, guess what? If the person has 1 kid, you just put 2. Because you only less 1 if it's 2 to 4 kids, or you less 2 if it's 5 or 4 kids. So if a person only has 1 kid, their number is 2, because it's enter a 2 for each eligible child. Does that make sense? Y'all following me?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So that's for your kids. So H now says add lines A through G and enter the total there. So all of those numbers right now, all the ones you may have got or the 2s, whatever your numbers are, A through G, that number now goes on H. So some people may have 2, some people may have 5, some people may have 10. It depends on your situation, okay? This is what's called the standard deductions. This is what most people fill out, and that's all they get. But now, because you're in the business, this is what we came here for. Scroll down this section here that says employee, right here under the dotted line. We're going to come back to this because this is what you fill out after you've done page 2. So here's page 2, guys. And this is going to be pretty quick. This is page 2. It's called the Deductions and Adjustments Worksheet. Use this worksheet only if you plan to itemize deductions or claim certain credits or adjustments to income. Okay? You can fill this out because you're going to have business deductions. Okay? You're going to have some adjustments to your income because you have a home-based business. All right? So 1 says, enter an estimate of your 2016 itemized deductions. These include qualifying home mortgage interest, charitable contributions, taxes, medical expenses, blah, 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 blah. Right? So basically, this is what's key here. You ask a person, or you know when you filed your taxes last year, did you have a Schedule A? What's a Schedule A? It just means that you claimed itemized deductions. Most people don't have a Schedule A because most people don't have itemized deductions, or if they do, it's not more than you get for a standard deduction. Mm-hmm. So when you did taxes last year, if you had a Schedule A, then you may need to look at that number and see what it was. But most people don't have one. Most people file standard deductions. So if you had a Schedule A, you're going to put whatever number was there on line 1. If it's greater than what the network is going to give you for the standard deduction, which is, look at the, if you're married, filing jointly, the government gives you $12,600 as a deduction. If you're a head of household, it gives you $9,300. If you're single or married, filing, you get $600. So most people, guys, in most cases are going to have a 0 on 1 because they don't have a Schedule A or itemized deductions. And on B, you're going to enter, on 2, you're going to enter whichever dollar amount matches your situation. So either you're married and you get $12,600, you're head of household and get $9,300, or you're single and get $6,300. Whichever one you are, write that dollar amount on 2. So line 3, subtract line 2 from 1. If 0 or less, enter 0. So subtracting a number, let's say $9,300 from 0, you're going to get negative $9,300. So you're going to enter a 0 on line 3. So if you're following along right now, you probably write down that a 0 on 1, whatever number for your situation on line 2, but you still got a 0 on line 3. That's fine. That's usually how. Line 4 is where the money is. Okay, line 4 says, enter an estimate of your 2016 adjustments to income and any additional standard deductions. Basically, what this means is, how much money do you think in the next year you're going to spend on your business? Okay, how much money do you think it's going to cost you to operate your business? Remember, guys, a portion of your rent, a portion of your gas bill, your mileage in your car, your meals, your entertainment, cell phone bill, internet bill, all of these things are now deductions that you have because you have a home-based business. So I would tell every one of you on the line, everyone is going to at least spend at least $10,000 over the next 12 months for your business. That's the least. Me personally, this past year, I spent about almost $20,000 on my business because I traveled, I've been going to seminars, you know, I drive a lot. So remember, the government gives you 50 cents a mile for driving. So I rack up deductions a lot. So I would tell you on line 4 to put at least $10,000. I would tell you honestly, the people I sit down and do this with, I tell them to put $16,000 there because I'm sure you're going to surpass $16,000 in a year on your business. So I would tell you to put $16,000, but you can put whatever. If you feel like you're going to spend more, you can over project. If you feel like you're going to spend, you can put something less. But remember, you can always revisit this form if you feel like you put too low or you put too high. You can always change it. So what I would tell you right now to do is at least put $16,000 on line 4. Okay? So line 4, you want to put $16,000. Line 5 says, add lines 3 and 4. So lines 3 is probably a 0. Line 4 is 16,000. So line 5 is going to be 16,000. Okay? Line 6 says, enter an estimate of your 2016 non-wage income, such as dividends or interest. If you're investing and you're making dividends or interest, capital gains, if your stocks, though that number goes there. Okay? Any money that you're making, not by labor. Most people aren't investing yet, so most people have a 0, okay, on line 6. Line 7 says, subtract line 6 from 5. So most people have a 0 on line 6, and on line 5, you said we had 16,000. 0 minus 16,000 is 16,000. Okay, so line 7 is going to be 16,000. Line 8, divide the number on line 7 by 4,050. And enter the result here. Drop any fraction. So if on line 7 we've got 16,000, now you divide that by 4,050. Somebody do that really quickly for me and tell me what the number is. I think it's going to be like 3.9, but someone let me know real quick.
Yeah, 3.9, 3.95.
Okay, so 3.9. So what do we do in math? If you got 3.9, you round up, right? So you're going to put 4. So on line 8 now, you've got 4. Does that make sense? Everyone follow me, right? So line 9 now says, enter the number from the personal allowances worksheet line H, page 1. So whatever number you got on line H, when we did the first page, you're gonna enter that same number on line 9 on page 2. Line 10 says add number, lines 8 and 9, and enter the total here. So you're gonna add whatever we got here, which was 4 on 8, and whatever you got on 9. So if you had a 4 in the front, you've got a 4, now you've got an 8 total here on 10. If you got a 6 on 9 and a 4 on 8, you've got a 10. You know, so whatever your number is, line 10 is where it's at. So that total goes on line 10. Now, this section here that says 2 earners, multiple job worksheet, y'all never fill this out. This is a way for them to take your allowances back from you. Just don't even look at it. Just leave it alone. Go back now to this section here. If you see where this dotted line is, basically this says separate here and give Form W-4 to your employer. Keep the top part for your records. So guys, all that's working out of line 1, A, B, C, and page 2, none of that your employer sees. That's for you. That was just for you to come up with the with the number to put on this bottom section. Okay? So on this section here, you just enter your name, social, address, single, and the only thing you're filling out is line 5, which says, enter the total number of allowances you are claiming from line H above or from the applicable worksheet on page 2. So whatever you got here on line 10 is what you put here on line 5. That's it. So whatever number you got, that's where you put line 5. Line 6 says any additional amount you want withheld from your paycheck. You don't want nothing else withheld from your paycheck. Okay? You're not trying to give no one any extra money. So you're going to leave that blank. And line 7 says if you claim exemption from withholding, you're not exempt. You've got to pay taxes. So you want to leave 7 blank. So the only thing you want to fill out on this page is box 5 with whatever you got on line 10 from page 2. You take this off, you cut this right here, give this signer here. You're going to sign here, date it, and you turn this into your employer, and this takes effect your next pay cycle. So if you go into work tomorrow and adjust your form and turn it in tomorrow, whenever you get paid again, you should see an increase. Some companies may take up to 1 pay cycle, but within 30 days, you're gonna see the increase. Most people see it immediately in the next paycheck. Okay, so most people see it immediately in your next paycheck. So guys, that's what it is. That's all this is. This is a right you have. It's your money. Start getting more of it and start giving more of it away. Okay? And once you start to adjust your W-4 and you see that extra income in your paycheck, use that money to pay down your debt. Don't go ball out. Don't go buy any extra stuff. Get out of the debt so you can become debt free and start to use that extra money to start to invest so your money can start to make you more money. Okay? So what I need each and every one of you on the line to do is if you haven't adjusted your W-4, do it tonight. Turn it in tomorrow. And as soon as you get paid again, let me know what your increase was so you can share that testimony. And now that'll be a way for you to share what the strategies are doing for you. And now people will want to join the business with you so the strategies can do the same thing for them. All right? So guys, I hope this helped. Thanks for jumping on this webinar. I recorded it, so I'm going to post it in our team group. Anyone here who might not be in my Planets and Stars group and you need the recording, just inbox me and let me know. But the webinar is about to end, because it's a timer. It's only 40 minutes or less. But if you got any questions, just shoot me an inbox. I'm going to be online for a while. So just shoot me an inbox and we can jump on and answer any questions you have. Thank you so much, guys. Y'all have a great night. And let's expose some people to this business and take advantage of the last 24 hours of this $5 promotion. All right, let's all rank up. All right, y'all have a great night. Be blessed, and I'll see y'all on the next one.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right.